welcome back. As promised, I have 4 more incredible authors with awesome holiday promotions. That's enough for me. Let's get these authors talking. So first off is Miss Sharon Jenkins. How are you?
I am fine. How is everybody? I hope you are enjoying your winter because it is here in full force.
Oh, I love it. Well, Miss Jenkins, tell everybody what genres you write in and the titles of some of your books or your latest book.
Well, let me tell you, this year I decided to join the fiction tribe. I've been doing nonfiction for about 15 years. And all of a sudden I said, let me see if I can write a fiction book. And I did. And guess what? I wrote this wonderful book, The Untold Love Story. And all I can tell you is one foot is in Africa and the other foot is in Houston, Texas. Well, for Christmas, I said, let me do something special. So I'm going to bring up part 2 to this wonderful romantic suspense. And I'm going to talk about A Time to Wed.
Oh my God. Welcome to the fiction community. Welcome. Big hug. Welcome. So what was it
Thank
like
you.
going from, I'm assuming, nonfiction coming on over to fiction? What was that journey like for you?
Well, I'm a, how can I say it? I, if I had to be addicted to something, it would be historical fiction novels.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Nice.
so
Okay.
I've been in the closet reading those things forever.
No. Why are you hiding in the closet? Come on out. It's okay. Historical fiction loves you. Come on out.
And I love it, and I love it. And even to the point where when I would see my favorite fiction authors, I would go into fangirl mode.
Oh,
Where
okay.
I start sweating and I couldn't hardly talk. And we know that I love to talk. So I'm like, so I took.
I can't picture that. I just can't picture you being speechless. I can't myself, yes, but I can't picture that. Oh my
Oh,
gosh, I
yeah.
love that.
Oh, yes. It is really weird to see me. People are like, what's wrong with her? But anyway, the moral of the story is it has been an adventure for me. And I actually started the adventure doing NaNoWrite. And I didn't quite make the 30 days, but January, February, I was ready to publish. And I love this story because it incorporates a lot of the stuff that I like. Like, I love Houston. I love Texas because it's big, you know? And then I like Houston because it's big, okay? And I like Africa because it's big. So we just put everything together and mixed it up. And how can I say this to you without telling you too much about this?
Yeah, tell me. I'm dying to know what the summary of this story is. You got to tell me.
Woo! You know how sometimes we're raised to become something because it's our duty in life, like we're raised to become a royal, like Prince
Okay.
Harry.
Okay.
Okay. And maybe that shoe fits us. But if that's all we know, sometimes people think that's all we can become.
Right.
And the beautiful part of this story is yes, this young lady, a beautiful African princess called Zara, she is an innocent because her father has kept her shielded for all these years because she inherits the throne. But guess
Okay.
what? Are you ready for this, Amy?
I don't know. I'm trying to brace myself. I hope so.
He doesn't love her because she's not a male child.
Oh, now that's just wrong. That's wrong on so many levels.
Well,
Okay.
it was one of those things. I mean, it was like, men, kings, semi-gods or demigods have
Right.
male children.
Right. Okay.
First
Okay.
child was not a male child, but he kept trying to have male children and it never happened. And so he was stuck in raising her to be a royal. And because she was hungry for her father's love, guess what? She did everything he told her to do.
Of course. Of course. I would expect nothing else, but I'm dying. How did this whole idea kind of come about for you? I mean, you mentioned that you love Houston and Texas and all of those things. So how did this idea just kind of pop in? You're like, I'm going to write this story and I'm going to dabble on over in fiction.
Well, the Woman King had a little bit of something to do with it.
Okay. Okay.
And then Wakanda Forever had a little something to do with it.
Okay.
And then coming back to America had something to do with it. So that's what inspired me. But the heart of the book is about the unexpected woman being a woman of virtue.
Okay.
And how, her being in this situation, that's who she was, and then she flowers into that in the midst of some really great, funny, and then some really great sad things that happen in her life. So she's a pretty interesting character.
I'm nervous about the sad things. Okay. You have me nervous now. I'm like, what could happen? Like, I was totally excited for all of this. I'm sure she's a badass royal. And now you're like, but sad things happen. I'm like, no, don't let that happen.
I killed people in this book.
No, okay.
And it was legal to kill these people in this book.
Stop it. No. Oh my goodness. You're telling no. I did not hear that. No, I didn't hear that.
Amy, we are having too much fun. But
no, I love talking with you. You are so much fun. But I love how you're like, well, this had to do with it, and this one, and Wakanda and all that, and it inspired the story for you to come on over into fiction land, right? Yeah. Like, welcome. So do you think that you're going to continue in fiction, or do you think that you're going to go back to nonfiction? Are you going to dabble in both? What's it looking like?
Well, I think I'm going to stay on the fiction side for a while. Welcome. I haven't had a full adventure yet. Okay. So I was on the nonfiction side for 15 years. I got to give the fiction side 15 years too.
Yes. All right, I'm here for it. I love it. So is this story going to be a series, or is it just a 1 and a 2? What are we looking at for this series?
4-book series, the Virtuous Woman series. That's the name of the series.
Nice. Okay. Do we already have the other ones written, or do we just know the count and we're going to go as the wind takes us?
I know what's going to be in all 4.
Okay. Hey, I love it. I'm here for that. I like it. I like it. So when can we expect a completion date of your series? Do you have like a goal in mind? What are we looking at?
Well, the week before Christmas, since I just love my readers, they're going to be able to take a glimpse into A Time to Wed.
Oh, book 2. I like it. Okay.
Yes. And because the time to wed is Christmas time.
Of course. I didn't fall in that category because I picked one of the hottest months, but my sister did. My other sister picked December too. I just was June. Let's do it. And it's hot. Everyone's sweating and they're like, I don't want to be here. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I gave you fans. I'm sorry. I know it's hot. So it is definitely a wedding season. So what else is next for you? I see your title of super author. Talk to me about it. It used to be What was it? Author Granny. So what's
Oh,
happened?
and it still is. I didn't think I had enough room to put Super Off Granny up there,
I
but
remember it.
you do, Amy. That's good. The reason why I'm probably going to go to heaven with that title because
I like it. We're gonna put it on your tombstone. I like it. I'm
yeah,
here for it.
simply because old folks can write books that make a difference in the world, and I want to inspire my peers to write their hearts out, to leave a literary legacy for their grandchildren and their children and future generations. So that's where I'm headed on the business side. I've
Nice.
put together leave a literary legacy living writing program. Okay.
Nice.
So I
I
just
love
have
it.
fun in this genre. I don't know. I mean, in this industry, I have fun. I don't know how people get so serious and bogged down, Amy.
I'm telling you, I love authors of all genres. Indie and self-published is my or small press. That's my realm. That's my happy spot. There's some amazing or amazingly credible, talented writers and stories, and it's been great. I mean, I have met Meg Hofdahl, who to me is the female version of Stephen King. I mean,
Ooh.
she keeps me up at night when I read her books. I'm like, I can't handle you, Meg. Like, I'm sorry, I love you. We're BFFs, but I got to put you down. Okay, we can talk
So you
later, kind
don't
of thing.
fangirl when you see her, Amy?
No, I love her. I've never met her in person. I've had several like video conversations with her. She's amazing, and I love her. But I know you yourself has helped so many authors
Yes,
in your journey. You love authors probably more, if not just as much as I do. Sandy Lawrence, also. I mean, that's how I met you, was through Sandy. So you do
yes.
some amazing things, and you get people writing, which is amazing because the world would be boring without all of you guys. Okay. You needed to take us fantasy fiction. Take me away.
But Amy, guess what? I have another bomb to drop on you. You ready?
I don't know. Okay. I'm bracing myself. Yes, I'm prepared.
Guess what? I was in a movie.
Okay. Now we have to know. Now we have to know. Okay.
We have to let everybody else talk. We'll talk some more. But I was in a movie about
I
sex
love it.
trafficking.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
Coral, I can't keep up with you. But
No.
tell everybody what your holiday promotion is, because you know that the 12 Days of Patienters is all about holiday promotions, because the best gift to give anybody this holiday season is a book, help them escape from reality or to learn something if you're doing nonfiction. So tell everybody what your holiday special is this holiday season.
Well, since it's such a wonderful season of the year and I like to give stuff away, we're going to do a reduced price on A Time to Wed when we launch it. Yay!
Nice.
Okay. And then guess what? Somebody's going to win a free version of our audio book for The Untold Love Story.
Oh,
It just dropped a few weeks ago. Well, wait a minute. That was back in August. It dropped in August. And believe you me, we got the African accent and everything going on.
man, see that I love the 12 Days of Patience, but I don't get to win anything. Okay, like it's so unfair to me because I don't get to win anything. But I do stock up on all my books that I read for the year, so I am excited about it. But thank you so much. It's always so much fun to get to talk with you and see what all you're doing. So you guys, the link to check out this discount is in the copy above and in the comment section. So make sure that you take advantage of Miss Sharon Jenkins' holiday promotion. But thanks so much for hanging out with us this evening.
Bye-bye and happy holidays.
Yes. Coming up next is Stephen Joseph. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing pretty good. I was planning on watching on Netflix. There's a baby gorilla cam that I was going to watch the baby gorilla for an hour, but then I got pulled into this instead. So, well, I'm excited.
Well, good. Well, welcome. Hopefully, you have a lot of fun. So, tell everybody what genre or genres you write in and the titles of some of your books.
Okay, so I have a couple genres. Primarily, my brand is Crankiness. So I'm a crankiness expert. So I have first my adult book, A Grown-Up Guide to Effective Crankiness, the Crankiness Method. This is my first adult book and just came out a couple months ago, which it's been selling, so I don't have any copies with me, is Cranky Superpowers, Life Lessons Learned from the Common Crankiness Chronicles.
Nice. Congratulations. I love to hear that.
They are not self-help books. They are help yourself books.
Nice.
I don't believe in self-help books. It's like self-serve ice cream. Like you didn't make the ice cream, it's just like, oh, how do you do that? I put the cone under the thing and then the ice cream came out. Wow, I want to get that book. No, it's help yourself book, how to help yourself. And then I'm also a kid's author. I have The Last Surviving Dinosaur, the Tyrannosaurus. And then I follow that up with Snoodles, Cadoodles, Poodles, and lots of noodles.
Oh,
and then
I love it.
The second Snoodles book is Snoodles in, make sure I have it right, Snoodles in Space, a wackadoodle tale from outer space. So this is so those are my, and then I'm coming up next year with a follow-up to my third Snoodles book. So so that's where I'm between the Snoodle land and crankiness. Effective crankiness.
How did you land there? Because I love the titles of your book. I love how you're just dabbling kind of between the two and the crankiness and everything. So how did you kind of land to write about these two things? How did the ideas kind of come about for you?
Well, first of all, I wasn't planning on, I'm an attorney, my day job.
Okay.
And then my company was bought by another company, and they sent us people from the new old company to this leadership development thing where I had to take tests in the castle somewhere in England, and they got back the results, and I was told that on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being the most highest you could get, and 1 being the lowest for a level of energy, I was a 1. I wasn't even a couch potato. I was a potato that couldn't make the couch. And then on a scale of 1 to 10 of creativity, I was a 1. I scored a 1. These are by psychologists, like like doctors.
Gosh.
So not only could I not think inside the box, I couldn't think outside the box. I couldn't think inside the box, and maybe the place I should go was going into a box. So essentially, I was like classified as a perfect nursing home material. And so I thought maybe if I work really hard, I get to a 2 assisted living where they have some activities. And then if I work really hard, I could get into independent living where I get my own kitchen.
Nice.
So that's where, and also it got me cranky.
I love your story, and I'm aiming for the one with the kitchen. Okay, the independent living. That's my goal. I'm just like, hopefully I end up there. So how did what was your inspiration behind your children's books? How did those kind of come about where you decided to sit down and kind of write these stories?
Well, the first story, so everything came about with the first story. It all started with The Last Surviving Dinosaur, the Tyrannosaurus. And just so you know, like it's saurus, which is the Yiddish word for problems. Like you think you have saurus. If I had your saurus, I'd be doing cartwheels. Nobody could outdo my saurus, So that was like kind of a thing. And so I wrote this. So actually, I was in Rome with my wife, in this Airbnb thing in August, and we're tired and jet lagged, and she was like coloring her hair and blow drying her hair at the same time, and then hair dye got into her eye and the electricity went out. So she was very cranky, and I said, you're like a Tyrannosaurus, and that's probably how all the dinosaurs died. There's one little dinosaur who kept cranking out their saurus, so all the other dinosaurs dropped dead. So the first book was just basically a story how all humans evolved from the smallest, tiniest dinosaur, the Tyrannosaurus. So that was that book, and I started writing. Actually, didn't start writing a blog yet, but somebody wrote that, one of those reviewers said I didn't talk enough about overcoming crankiness. And I was all about embracing our crankiness, how to be effectively cranky. So I started writing a blog. And then all of a sudden I noticed I had enough stuff for a book. And that became a grown-up guide to effective crankiness. Then I just kept writing, and I had more stories, which kind of get into the crankiness realm, but then it's about more than just crankiness, and that's how the Snoodles books came about.
Nice. So you're all about embracing your crankiness. So can you give me an example on how that like comes about? Because I am one of those people that gets like hangry and cranky, and I don't like anybody by the end of the day. So I would love to know kind of some of the ways that you're just like, embracing it. So what does that look like for you or in your book?
Well, embracing it. So in my first book, A Grown-Up Guide to Effective Crankiness, I talk about, first of all, I give it a name, the common Crankosaurus. So if you think, oh, you have the common cold because you have one or two in a year, a common Crankosaurus, you could have 3 or 4 in the morning alone. And by making it, normalizing it and saying, it's not like I have to get rid of it. It's just part of the day, part of life, part of accepting it. Then it loses, and then having a fun name to it, it kind of loses its kind of knifey kind of, like if you get punched and you're not expecting a punch, as opposed to, yeah, I'm going to get hit a few times. You could take it; it doesn't hurt as much, and you kind of know how to deal with it. And then it's about working with each other. So, like I talk about in the beginning of that book, where you go in to visit your aunt and for Christmas, to go to visit for Christmas. And she says, oh, Amy, take off your shoes. I spent $25 on this very fancy rug. I don't want to get the rug dirty. And we take off our shoes, but we put the schmutz on each other. What are the people who are more valuable to ourselves, we don't take off the shoes. We actually bring in the dirty shoes. And kind of muddy this sort of thing. So I talk about in Cranky Superpowers, I have a chapter called Crankosaurus Menopause. And in that chapter, I talk about how like my parents are married for 60 years. They never had a fight. And the interesting thing about that, my father was working on a ship. He was living in Israel. My mother was living in New York. They go on a blind date at Horn and Hearted coffee shop. My father pays 5 cents for a cup of coffee for my mother and proposes to my mother right then and there. Will you get married with me? And my mother said yes. And they were married for like 60 years. And the thing about that, I like years later, I asked like, Mom, why did you say yes? I didn't even know this guy. And my mother said, he looked like a hard worker. So, but anyway, the thing what I talk about in that chapter, like in my relationship, we have this rule that you get to be 5% insane, 20% crazy, but you have to be 75% normal.
Okay.
And you might think, wait a second, that's insane. Wait, let me do the math. 365 days a year, with 10%, that's 36 days. 20%, that's 72 days of craziness. That's madness. I can't do that. But the thing is, it's counterintuitive. So if I told you you're allowed 0% crazy, when you become crazy, because we all do, you can't say you're crazy. You have to say, I'm not crazy. You're the one that's crazy, which if you told me that, I wasn't crazy before. Now I'm feeling crazy because a crazy person told me I'm crazy. And then I have to double down that this person is really crazy. And before you know it, we all go insane. So by giving 20% allowance, you end up with maybe 1 or 2% crazy. So that's how it works, because I'm given permission. It's okay. If I'm not bad about being crazy, I could breathe. I appreciate the acceptance of craziness. And that makes it so much easier.
I love that. I'm going to tell my husband this when we get off, that like, hey, I'm allowed 20% crazy. Okay. Like I'm allowed it, I love that. And I love how you kind of put like a fun kind of name to it, and take kind of the negative, I guess, connotation, I think is the
Yes.
word. Yeah, like you kind of take that away from it, where it's like, oh, you're cranky. It's okay. We all have those days. Let's just keep rolling, and something good will happen, and it'll pull you out of your crankiness, kind of thing. So I love that. So how long have you been writing? Has it always been a part of your life, or is it something that you're just like, well, after you got those test results, you're like, well, I'm just gonna do this then?
Well, I wrote before legal stuff. I do negotiation.
Yeah.
I started writing in the 90s. I was asked to speak at a seminar and write 2 chapters in a textbook. And I go, oh, really? You have to do that? Like, I'm not going to do that. But this attorney says, if you ever want to become an expert about something, write about it. So I've been writing legal stuff, not as much fun, since around 1995. So I've been doing that for quite a while. And actually, when I was told that I'm low energy, I wrote about like 20 legal articles within like 4 months. I just was like feeling really cranky, and then just things were flying around in my head. So I've been doing that forever, seems like. And then this was like 2019. So since 2019, I started with The Last Surviving Dinosaur, and now this is book number 5 that just came out, Cranky Superpowers, and then Snoodles in Space episode 2, The Zoodles Strike Back, will be my 6th book coming out next year.
Wow. So how long does it take you from like beginning to end to write your book? Not including editors or anything like that, just to sit down and write it. What does that look like for you?
Well, what happened, I run. I have this bad habit of running in the morning. I run like 2 hours every morning. It's a bad habit, but actually I call it my normal, not a habit. It's what I normally do. And I even talk about normals. Habits are like alternate side parking in New York City, where you're getting a parking spot, but ultimately you move the car. A normal is building a house. So like that's my house. I just run. So when I run, like stuff flies into my head. And then the best is when characters start talking. I just watch them talk, and I don't have to do anything. I just and it's not even running. I just watch them and enjoy them. So the most fun I had was redoing Cinderella. There's the king and the queen and the prince, and the king and queen are like my parents. So it's like I hear my mother talking. So that was a lot of fun. And the prince had been dating Snow White, but she was living with 7 little men. So that was so the prince had a problem with that. But anyway, so that's when I kind of do my writing. The kids' book, it just like flies into my head, and then I have this inspiration that it goes pretty quickly. And the adult books are basically, you could find everything on StephenJosephAuthor.com, where I write these blogs, and it could be like some sort of inspiration. For example, I was just talking with somebody at work. What are you doing this weekend? Oh, we're going to, they're axe throwing. They're going to be throwing axes. Oh, that's weird. But I wrote axe to grind Crankosaurus. Like people say, oh, I have an axe to grind.
Yeah.
As an attorney, so I was at a mediation, and somebody was pounding his fist. This ain't my first rodeo. Which I hear with the lawyers, they like to say that for some reason, even though they never have been to a rodeo. Of course, if they're in Texas, maybe they've been to a rodeo, but somebody up in New York City, they're 1,000 miles away from a rodeo. They don't know anything about a rodeo, but they like to say, this ain't my first rodeo. So compared to a circus, if I said, hey, what are you doing this weekend? I'm just going with the kids to the circus. And so, you don't seem too excited about that. It ain't my first circus, So I get to tell a story about how that phrase came about, and I have a character. So again, it's like that kind of work inspiration that leads to characters and stories, and I want to be funny, but there is a seriousness to it that I really do want to have people thinking and really looking at themselves and saying, yeah, that's me, and I could do that. I can make that change. I get cranky, and I don't want to be, and I can make that crankiness be my superpower. So that's what this book is all about.
Nice. Well, Stephen, here on the 12 Days of Page Turners, it's all about holiday promotions. So tell everybody what you're offering this holiday season.
Well, I'm working with Books That Make You, a great group of people. And I am going to be signing and sending off to them so they could give away 10 copies of all my books. So that's 10 copies of this, and 10 copies of this, and 10 copies of this, and then 10 more copies of this, and 10 more copies of another book, which I don't, because people have been buying them. I have to order more copies of my Cranky Superpowers book.
Nice. Well, I love it. Well, Stephen, thanks for taking time out of your evening and from your baby gorilla camp to come and hang out with us this
My
this
pleasure.
evening.
Thanks for having me.
Fun. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, coming up next, HC Kilg. Did I say your last name right? I always butcher it.
It's hard. It's Kilgour. Yeah, I think you got it.
Yes.
Kilgour.
I've been doing that. I've been saying it in my head. I'm like, it's not. It's this way, Amy. It's this. I know it's this way. I know it's this way. But how are you?
Do you remember how to say this?
Nanoggin. Yes. Yes, I do. I do remember that. So, HC, tell everybody what genre you write in and the title of your book.
So I write fantasy, and my only published book right now is Nanoggin. We are working on the second one. It's still in edits. I'm hoping it will be done. I don't know. April would be a good bet, just because, we have Christmas coming up, at the end of this month. And then in January, I'm getting married. And then I do the Renaissance Fair for 2 months as a bartender. So yeah, I have lots of craziness coming up. So we'll see. No deadlines for the next book, but again, it's fantasy, portal fantasy for people who really want an escape. So
nice. Congratulations on your upcoming wedding. How exciting. I love it. So let's dive into your portal fantasy. Tell me all about it. Where do we portal to? What was the process like in creating it? I want to know all the details.
So more or less, Nanoggin and this fantasy series came about because I couldn't sleep. My dad would read books to me, and to help myself fall asleep, I would throw myself in the book. And then because I knew it was going to happen, get boring, and I'd pull in different friends and mix in other plot elements from other books. And after like 10 years of doing this, I have my own book. And then it just became a process of sitting down and writing it. And of course, the story changed. So, it went from something more or less just a rip-off Aragon to becoming its own thing, where it's now really more of like a mix of Aragon, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Game of Thrones, kind of taking all three of those, mashing them into one, and then saying, go have fun.
Wow. Okay, that's a lot to unpack, but we're going to start with Nanoggin. How did the title of your book come from? Was it just a word? Is it a nickname for you? Where did it come along?
So Nanoggin is the name of the portals that transports Keegan Digor, who is our main character, into the world of Arceal. And we actually have my mother to blame for the title being Nanoggin, because I originally called it Convergence. And she's like, that doesn't sound right. I like this better. And she was right. So we stuck with it.
Nice. Okay. So I know that book 2 is with your editor. And I know that every single person on this call has a love-hate relationship with their editor. I get it. I'm not an editor, so I will agree with you, because I'm not ever going to go down that journey myself. But can you tell us what the title of book 2 is, or what you're playing around with?
I don't want to release it yet. I would like to keep that secret until we do a cover reveal for the most part. So I'm going to be on that one for now.
You can't leave me in suspense. It's like leaving me out of a cliffhanger on a book, and then I'm just mad. I'm just going to throw my fit. I'm so mad, but I understand and I respect it.
Nanoggin, then. It's got a different ending than it did a couple of years ago.
Oh,
that
okay.
really make you pull your hair out.
Well, then no, I don't want to do that because I don't want to pull my hair out. Like I had this conversation with Sharon Jenkins and sad scenes. So I just am okay. I'm gonna have to order it, but still, I'm gonna I will text you and been like, listen here. Okay, we need to talk for sure.
I expect a lot of that. It's what I do.
I love it. So tell us what gave you, or let's back up. Where do all of the portals go? Does it only go to one other place? Do we go to different places? Where all can we go through these portals?
So essentially there's two worlds, and anywhere in our world, anywhere in their world, you can end up. But the trick with these is that they're hyper specific to each person, and you never know where yours is going to happen and if you're even going to get one. So it's really just kind of luck of the draw of, oh, I was just taking a nap and I'm in another world now. Well, help.
Okay. That is a lot to process. Okay, because I do like my naps when I get them. Okay, we all know I have a 4 and a 3-year-old, so they are sparse. But okay, taking a nap, waking up somewhere new. I could dig that if my kids are temporarily gone for a little bit. I'm okay with it. Okay, so I'm here. I'm here for that. So, do you have a map in your book, or what is that like?
Let me see if we can't get it to show nice and
I
pretty.
love maps. Oh, that's beautiful.
Our map. I'm trying to get it lined up with the camera, which is a lot harder than it looks.
I see. I can see it.
But yeah, that's our map. Very, very fantasy-esque. All the fun words that are hard to say, but there's a glossary in the back, so if you ever get confused, just I helped you.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's what I was going to ask next, because I know in fantasy there's sometimes made up languages that I can't pronounce, and then I'm lost and I don't know what's going on. I got to go and look up, or context clues are my best friend when it comes to that. But what made you pick fantasy? Are you ever going to dabble around, or is fantasy like that's where you're happy, you're not leaving?
So I chose fantasy just because that's mostly what I read, and I really like the fact that there is no limitation. You're not limited to what technology you can create. It's what laws of the universe can I play with, create new, and then, give it this impossible thing, and, playing with creatures and all that kind of fun stuff. It's just, you're only bound by your imagination. It's not like you could say, oh yeah, I'm going to go write about, World War II and there's going to be dragons. Like, it doesn't really work like that, for any other genre. But, with fantasy, you could say, cool, it's a World War II era and there's dragons, so I can do what I want. So just that more freedom to just make stuff be crazy. But as far as sticking with fantasy, it's probably going to be my main genre. I do have an action adventure book started, as well as a paranormal book started, and I have ideas for all sorts of other things. So we'll see what happens in the future, but there's always things going on up here.
I love it. Welcome to multi-genre. You're here and you're loved, okay? Because I read multi-genre, and I know that it's probably just gonna shock all of you guys, but psychological thrillers is my game. I love those. The more twisted it is, where it could really be reality, the happier Amy is. Okay, so I'm gonna hold out for one of those from you, because I feel like you could really jack me up. Like, I feel like you really could.
That's probably one of the very few genres I don't think I could ever do, just because I'm like, all I got is Florida Man and hurricanes, and I don't think many people want to read about the weird stuff Floridians do during hurricanes.
You know what? Do another, like, what was it, Sharknado or something? Or was there like 5 of those? Like, I'm here for some zombies.
Sharknado physically hurts me to watch. I'm just like, no, just no.
It's so funny, all the ones that they kept making. And I made a joke the other day. I'm a huge zombie nerd, right? So I watch zombies during the holidays, and that's not holiday-esque, but I do that. And I made a joke with my husband. I was like, what if they did, like, instead of Sharknadoes, it was like zombie-nados, right? Like, I think that would be kind of cool. It'd be like quirky and fun. So I need someone to write that so I can read it, because I'm not going to write it myself. Okay, so there's an idea for you. Play around with it. I'm here for it. Okay, I'll beta read it for you. Like,
I'll try. No promises.
Okay, I'll accept the no promise, but I'm gonna just randomly send you that in an email. Be like, hey, remember this? Just a fun thought. So, an action adventure is kind of coming, paranormal. So, I also know that you have dabbled now into the publishing arena. Is that true?
Yes, David Baylog and I have a company, mostly David. I just tag along. It's called AuthorTalk Press. It's just the two of us for now. I think it's going to stay the two of us, but that doesn't mean we aren't open to bringing in other people at a later date. But yeah, we did that. We had a lot of trouble with publishers. Rock Hill was great start, but just we kind of wanted to take it to the next step. And then, we were working with another publisher. She was great, but just we couldn't get things to work out. So, we had a bit of a setback, and we finally just said, you know what, we're going back to plan A. We're doing it ourselves. We should have done it the first time. We should have stuck to our guns and said we can do this instead of saying, we don't know if we can do it. We'll tag along with someone else, but we should have just stuck to our guns from the start. But yeah, we did it. Well, he did it. And again, I tagged along, and I'm happy to be here. So
I love it. I love it. Isn't the publishing journey of an author is, to me, the greatest story because it's different for absolutely everybody and for every book that you put out. And so I love hearing those stories. Welcome to the publishing community. Again, it's always the happy place to be. And I think it's exciting kind of diving out on yours and David's own and kind of taking control of the quality and the product that you want to put out, right? Because your books are like your guys' babies, right? You want to put out a quality and, be in control of that. If you want to run a promotion on your book, I want to be in control of it. I'm a huge advocate for doing that. So, I mean, I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to high five you. I absolutely love it. But I know you have many things coming up in the chamber, and we've talked about a lot of it. The one thing we haven't talked about is your holiday promotion. So tell everybody what you're doing this holiday season.
So the ebook's going to be on sale for 99 cents, which is great. And then David and I are also doing a bundle. You can get my book, Nanoggin, as well as his two books, Necromancer's Lament and Necromancer's Sorrow, for $45 total. His is part of a trilogy. Book 3 hasn't come out yet. Mine is also a trilogy. Unfortunately, only book 1 is out right now. But you can wet your whistle in both of our worlds for that $45. Or, again, you can check out our ebooks. They'll be 99 cents each.
Nice. So where can everybody go to get your bundle?
You can go on Amazon. The website's been slightly finicky lately, so hopefully we've got that, working again. You can also reach out to the two of us, and we are happy to make some magic happen.
Wonderful. Well, HC, thanks for coming and hanging out with us. It's always so much fun to talk with you about Nanoggin. I love it. All righty. Well, coming up is Miss Kellyanne. Hey, how are you?
Hi. Happy winter.
I know. How are you doing?
I'm fabulous. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. So tell everybody what genre or genres you write in the titles of some of your books.
Sure. So I write children's books, and they are modern day nursery rhymes for children. So they came as poems, and over basically pretty much a 2-week period in April of 2022. I started writing in 2022 and wrote I had 27 books in 14 days, illustrated, ready to go. And I had the rest, the 31, that next week. So, and then I had them published within 6 months of writing them.
Wow. So when you sit down to write, you're serious. You're like, I'm going to knock all of these out that's in my head. Okay, I like it.
Well, they come really fast. The poetry, I said, it came as easily as breathing. That's how the poetry came. So when I heard it, I felt a real urgency to get it out into the hands of children. So I wrote the books in April of 2022. By the end of September 2022, all 31 were published. And I stopped at 31 because it's one book for every day of the month, for the longest month.
Oh, that's genius. That is, okay, that's genius. You went hands down. I never would have thought of that. And I'm your target market. Hi, hello. My name is Amy. I have a 4 and a 3-year-old. So hi, how are you?
Yes.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
goodness.
Absolutely perfect. Yeah.
Oh my
They,
goodness. Okay.
yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask. So tell me how the nursery rhymes. So give me kind of an example of one of the nursery rhymes of one of these 31 books, or kind of how they came about. Just the idea, just sat down and did it. What was that like for you?
Well, when I heard the poetry, I wrote it all down. And so I wrote more than 31. I capped it at 31. And a lot of times when the poetry came, it comes with flipped titles. So for example, instead of the last snow, I have the snow last. Okay. And instead of the teddy bear, I have the bear teddy, right? So, and these are great for this time of year, you know, the bear teddy with the polar bears and the snow last. And the snow last is about, it's about endings. And a town had a snow last. And it caused, you know, in that town, it caused many a friend. So they all rhyme. So I know how important rhyming is for literacy for children. It's proven. So the rhyming, they don't even realize they're learning because they're so entertained by the story. But the rhyming is gigantic. So I liken my work to Hans Christian Andersen and his nursery rhymes. You know, Inchworm, Thumbelina, Emperor's New Clothes. I kind of consider him a long lost friend, Hans and I. So, you know, these are the kinds of things I write. Oh, you were saying about who said they couldn't sleep at night? I've got the Tinker Sleep. This is about when you wake up in the middle of the night, not going to your electronics, but going to paper. And writing down something that, you know, writing down your thoughts that are destined for revealing. So each book has a message and a lesson, but it's rhyming, it's lyrical, and it's entertaining at the same time. And so my books have a lot of layers. So at any age, you know, you can take something from the book.
See, I love that. And I'm going to unfold that, right? Because my 4-year-old is huge into Pinkalicious right now, but my 3-year-old is the one that laughs at everything within Pinkalicious, right? When I'm reading it. So that's just, you know, we have this whole like Pinkalicious thing, and we had to get all of them that the library had. I mean, it was a whole thing. But the rhyming in your books is what I read my kids 2 books before they go to bed every night. And their last book is a rhyming book. And I always make them kind of recite the page that I just read, you know, because I feel like they better understand it in that sense. But they seem to laugh harder when they do that because it helps them. So I love that. And I love that it has a lot of layers, because then it's like multiple conversations that you can have as they get older, which I love. I think that's genius.
Yeah, it's really important. I was in preschool administration and in teaching. And so I spent a lot of time on my synopsises. So this is really important for who's purchasing my books. So there's multiple paragraphs describing what the book does for anybody who's interacting with it. And I give ideas for conversations, and I see the books as springboards for really interesting talks with children. So I put a lot of work into the synopsises. The poems came so easy. The synopsises were, you know, yet I really had to put my preschool hat on to write these. And so they're really important to look at when you're choosing which of the 31 books to start with, because they're all experiential. They're all about experiences, and they each touch on a different experience. Something from as simple as block play in the blocks building to being allowed to emote in the emotion commotion locomotion, which is a magical train, which each box car has a different emotion, right? So they're experiential, but there's lessons. There's lessons, and the lessons are from my own life, from my own journey. So they're all a piece of me. You know, you talked about being our children. And when I wrote my first poem in my first book, My Name is Mountain, I thought I was having an only child. Next thing you know, 30 more came.
Yeah.
And I was having multiples. So, you just never know. You never know.
No, oh my gosh. It's like you publish your first book and you get written by it, or bitten by it. And then you're just like, oh, well, what else can I do? Right? Like the sky is the limit. What else? Where else do I want to dabble? I love that. And I love the kind of each meaning in the book and helping address tough conversations. Because like as a parent, right? I mean, my oldest, I feel like lacks empathy. Like if she hits someone, she's like, I'm not apologizing. They deserved it. I'm like, no, you still hurt them. We have to have that conversation. And I feel like books kind of make it easier sometimes because you, as a parent, you're kind of limited in how creative you can have the same conversation. At least for me, it doesn't always just come up where I have 150 different conversations of the same one. It's really difficult. So I like books like that. And I like, that you've just birthed 31 different kind of lessons and conversations with kids. I think that's important. And I think you're going to be a children's book author, which is incredibly difficult to do. So congratulations, because I feel like to me personally, I feel like that's the most difficult one to write for, because your illustrations have to speak and your words have to speak and feed multiple conversations. And I feel like though they're shorter, they're way more impactful, which makes them much more difficult. There's like a lot of weight on those books. So it's important. So I want to dabble in your illustrations, because you said that you had your illustrations kind of done and they were done fairly quickly. So what was that process like for you? Did you do it yourself? Did you have someone that you knew? What was that for you?
No, my illustrations are incredible. I can't get it.
There you go.
My illustrations are incredible. So I did not even have a computer when I started writing. I had my iPhone and I had a 2017 iPad, right? And my TV went out and I tried to get a new TV and it wouldn't get delivered. And I finally realized I don't need a TV, I need a computer. So once I got on the Mac, I found something called iStock. iStock is a subscription-based art website. And it's millions of pieces of art, right? So I was able to find the art that matched my words for all my books.
Oh,
it was incredible. I can't even really explain it. It was very organic and it was an amazing experience. I mean, because my books are so different, right? You've got the Tinker Sleep, you've got the Bear Teddy. So the art varies per book, pretty dramatically. But it's funny when people read the books, they think I had my own illustrator. That's how good the art matches my nursery art. They thought I had my own illustrator. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't have no. I started writing in March of 2022. So I wouldn't have an illustrator of my own, right? So this is a way for people that, a lot of people want to write children's books. No. And they're like, well, how do you do the art? Look, iStock. I can't say enough about it. I mean, you can see my covers. You can see my, So instead of skyline, this is the line sky. And this is about dreams and what would you see on the line sky? What there's no rules for the line sky to fashion, right? So I can hardly explain it myself, but it's a tremendous journey that I'm on, tremendous journey. And I'm just lucky to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's almost like it was just destined for you to do it at that time and to knock it out and get everything done. I have to have the line Sky because my youngest daughter's name is Sky, and so she will love that. So I'm already like, okay, I already know. I go broke every year at the 12 Days of Page Turners, you guys. I do. So that's just all I get all my holiday.
Sky. I mean, the art in the line sky, I don't know if you can see it. It's just.
No, that's beautiful. I love that.
I mean, it's incredible. So what my books do, the child is actively engaging with the book. It is not passive. And I feel that's so important in early childhood literature and literacy. For the child to be engaged and not passive is gigantic.
Yeah, I think starting them up at like a young age and kind of buying books that are engaged and immersive kind of base is really what develops, children that love to read, right? I think that's important for sure. I mean, that's what I'm I guess the word escapes me. Okay. I'm not always brilliant with words, but that's what I've like destined for my kids. I'm like, you're going to end up loving reading. So we're going to buy all of the Pinkalicious books if you like those, right? Like we're going to dive in. If she likes it, all right, we're going to like dive 100% in. But I mean, I'm your target market. I mean, we can have this conversation all day. I'm like, yes, I need those. My sisters all have little kids. I'm like, they need that, right? Because they have like, they're going to be actually today. One is, happy birthday because one of them turns 1 today. So it's, one of those things. I'm like, all right, I know what I'm getting. I'm excited and I love to hear those things. But what is next for you? Are you going to continue writing or are we going to continue doing children's rhymes, nursery rhymes? What's your plan?
Well, I just released all 31 books on audio format.
Oh.
They are all on audio format and they are incredible. My narrator is fantastic. The music, the sound effects, they are works of art. And coming up, I also did the video. So the audio video is shortly going to be available on Vimeo. I'm doing that. And then the audiobooks you can get anywhere, but where I do my my winter special, it's going to be on a specific website because then I can do the promotion. So yeah, I'm going to be doing, it's called Winter Wonderland is my promotion. And it's going to start December 1st and it's going to go through the end of January because, going into a new year, we all talk about things we want to do differently and our children are no different. And so we can bring them into the idea of the new year, right? So the magic of December, whatever holiday you may celebrate, it's all winter wonderland to me. It's all winter. So I'm going to do a promotion for 25% off of any of my audiobook products. And you can go to Amplify. It's Amplify, audiobooks.com. And you'll be able to put in it's a Winter Wonder, all caps. And you put that in as the code and you'll get 25% off. Now I do offer all 31 audiobooks. Nice. For like $16, $17.
Nice. See, you understand your target market because you also have the videos, which like my kids love the nighttime one that's on YouTube. And there's like circus animals and then there's another one that's like zoo animals or something like that. And they love it. And all it is like good night little like lions. And then they turn the light off. To me, it's the most silliest thing, but they love it.
I have the night quiet. The night quiet is my real true bedtime story.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, this is my Goodnight Moon.
Oh my goodness. I love it. And your videos, I'm excited. You'll have to keep me updated on those. I'm a sucker for audiobooks because I'm doing good to know my name and have my head attached to my body most days. So audiobooks work fantastic for me. So your code is Winter Wonderland, all caps.
Well, it's just Winter Wonder.
Wonder. Okay.
Yeah, Winter Wonder. And it'll be 25% off discount of any of my audio products, whether you order. I have 4 series in the 31 books. There's 4 series. So you can buy one book, you can buy one of the 4 series, or you can buy all 31 and put Winter Wonder, all caps in and get 25% off of any of the audio products.
Wonderful. Well, you guys, just as a reminder, you can find all that in the comment section and in the copy. So don't worry, you can just copy and paste it. Okay. I've got you all covered. But Kellyanne, thanks so much for taking time out of your evening to come and hang out with us. This has been so much fun. I love it. And I'm already broke just looking at your books. So I'm here for it.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Wow. Man, you guys, I promised you 4 new authors, new holiday promotions. I delivered. If you are crazy if you don't take advantage of these holiday promotions. But remember, There's more coming up tomorrow for new authors, new holiday promotions. So make sure that you grab all of these holiday promotions this holiday season, because the best gift that you can give is help someone escape reality, learn to embrace their crankiness. Someone that's dabbled into fiction for the first time. I'm so excited. Or if you have little children in your family, or you yourself have little children, take advantage of the holiday promotions on all of these books. But until tomorrow,